Hey guys, so within the company, we are growing and there are so many changes. So I just wanted to share something new and exciting that's happening this week. So I've shared before about our inspirational morning vitamin call, which we call our IMV. And normally it's a phone call and you dial in and you listen. And we have passed 75,000 agents now. So they're changing it, or they have changed it, to a Zoom call. So for this week, I'm going to share the IMV with you so you could see some of the leadership and hear some of the things that they have to say. It is designed to help you build, push you in your life and in your business, right? So I hope you're able to take some nuggets away from it and apply it to your day. So without any further ado, here's the daily IMV.
Well, good morning, great morning, guys, and welcome to the Freedom Friday Zoom edition of the Inspirational Morning Vitamin. My name is Jay Stewart, and I have the pleasure of being one of your hosts on this morning, guys. And ladies and gents, your normal host, the host with the most, this gentleman, a six-star founding director, Mr. Shedrick White, $1 million income earner, is literally doing what he does best, helping the people, crisscrossing the planet. But I just have a sneaky suspicion that you might be okay with the gentleman that's going to stand in the gap for him this morning. This gentleman is absolutely the reason for the season. This gentleman, because of his vision, has provided an opportunity for 75,000+ people to earn some right now income and some long-term sustainable residual income. Because of this man's vision, this gentleman has helped well over 400 folks to leave a legacy, to create legacy income for their families. He's literally helped over 50 ring earners, presidential sapphire ring earners, ladies and gents, 3 millionaires inside of 7 years. This gentleman is the founder, the visionary, the CEO of PlanNet Marketing. Do me a favor, raise your coffee mugs and help me wish good morning and happy anniversary to our CEO and our founder, Mr. Donald Bradley. Mr. Donald Bradley, how are you this morning?
I'm doing extremely well. Very excited to be on here with you this morning. Mr. Jay Stewart, a founding 2-star director in our company, presently the number 65 income earner out of 75,000 active individuals in our company. And I know you got your ring on this morning, that sapphire ring, indicating hard-earned income of well over $100,000 in a 12-month calendar period. Jay, one of the top trainers, one of the top presenters, not only in PlanNet Marketing, but in the industry of network marketing. I'm super excited to be on this Zoom with you this morning.
Absolutely. Well, likewise, sir. I am fired up and excited to be on here with you as well. Listen, Mr. Donald Bradley, it's been an incredible week. It's going to be an incredible weekend, an incredible end of 2022. Myself and Mr. Shedrick White, it's been an incredible week on the IMV too. Mr. Bradley, let me ask you about this. This is our first week on Zoom. How you feeling about what a power move to take us from the call to Zoom? How you feeling about us going to Zoom? How's this week been for you?
Just to have an amazing leadership team that can pivot and adjust as we did during the pandemic, went from the conference room to the Zoom rooms, and it was just befitting that we were getting locked out. We had a line that could fit 1,000 people, but now, of course, the company is growing, our leadership team is growing. So just to watch you amazing champions make that adjustment in just a short period of time, it's just to give the people everything that they need. It's just amazing to be a part of this.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Well, listen, Mr. Brad, attitude reflects leadership, right? We get it from our granddad. So I appreciate you as well. Myself and Mr. White on Fridays, we've been coming from the book, Building an Empire by Brian Carruthers. We had an amazing pre-call this morning. You know, we were, over the last couple of weeks, we've talked about just in the introduction. It's been hard for us to get out of the introduction of this book. As Mr. White would say, it's so much meat on the bone. So we talked a little bit about, the industry. We talked a little bit about the learning curve. But this morning, we get to talk about something that I know is near and dear to your heart. And I just can't wait to dive into this. We had an amazing pre-call, but you said something on the pre-call, and it really kind of set the tone for this call this morning. You said, listen, get them prepared for the journey. Get them prepared for the journey. And so I'm really excited to kind of dive in. Mr. Carruthers, literally on page 46 and 47, he gave some things that, that we should do to get them prepared for the journey. But what's your thoughts on the topic, Mr. Bradley, as we get started this morning?
Mr. Stewart, is a very responsible topic. I was excited when you sent me this topic yesterday. And the thing that I got out, that IQ. I mean, I want you to talk about that IQ. I mean, I love when there's impact made, and those two letters make real impact. And I'd like to start with that this morning, Jay. And I'm gonna pass it to you to start with that IQ, because as soon as I read that, I got excited about this call this morning.
That's one of Mr. White's favorite things too. When we say IQ, people think the intelligent quotient, right? But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about that I quit level, right? What's going to make you quit? What's going to make you say, you know what, I'm giving up on the thing that I said that I want? And that's a very responsible topic, because even though this industry has created more millionaires than any other industry, it has the highest attrition rate too. So it's a responsible topic, because people quit. They give up. They come in with amazing expectations and some serious whys sometimes. But Mr. Bradley, at some point, they hit a bump in the road, they may hit a hurdle or obstacle, and they have a quit level. And so I think it's a really, really responsible topic to talk about. What is your IQ level? What is it that's going to make you quit? We know why you started, but what is it that's going to make you quit? And I think that's a really responsible topic. What are your thoughts?
I was just thinking, I listened to you speak this morning as I introduced you as a Sapphire ring wearer, but Mr. Stewart, you have Sapphire ring wearers in your organization. And I just imagine that when we received that phone call from Mr. Shutter White, what if you just said, you know what, man, I'm busy. This is a little more difficult than I thought it would be. It's a brand new company. I'm literally, nobody knows what PlanNet is, 7 years ago. It looks cute and fancy now. Yeah. 7 years ago, you had to go out there and you were operating strictly off of belief. And I would just imagine, what if you had a low I quit level and the hundreds of thousands of dollars turning into millions of dollars that's generated in just your downline, Mr. Stewart, would not exist. The hope for the future that thousands of people have just in your organization right now would not exist. And it's a responsibility level that leaders have, not just to themselves, but to the individuals who said, I do, that believed in you, so that you can stick and stay and they can get their pay. Very, very, very important. And Mr. Stewart, I'm also reminded that when my children were younger, I didn't allow them to quit things. If they were playing PlayStation and they quit on each other, they would have to write, 100 times, winners don't quit and quitters don't win. Winners never quit and quitters never win. And I said, you can quit, you can stop, but you go over here to this drawing pad over here and you start writing. Then it made it less attractive for them. They'd rather finish the game than to go ahead and write. And Carruthers mentioned that when people were younger, their parents didn't hold them accountable for just starting and stopping things. Talk a little bit about that this morning, Mr. Stewart.
I love that. I'm reminded of when my kids played sports. I can remember my oldest was out playing football. He wanted to go out for football, and he didn't understand that you had to train before you just get out there and strap up and go be Emmitt Smith or what have you. And so he was running around the field, Mr. Bradley, and I remember him looking over at me. They were doing laps, and he's like, I'm done. I quit. This is not what I signed up for. And I'm like, look, you tell the coach you quit. Right? Tell the coach you quit. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. That was something that was instilled in us early on. And Mr. Bradley, to your point, not only do you have to you have to hold yourself accountable when it comes to your I quit level. And that's how I hold myself accountable when it comes to when the going gets tough. Then I need to turn around and tell the people that I said I was doing it for that I quit. That's a different conversation. Right? That's a different conversation. And that's what keeps me going even through the tough times. I got to make sure that if I'm going to quit, tell the people that you're doing it for you quit. Different level of accountability, Mr. Bradley.
Yeah, and my son Brandon, he was a small guy and he wanted to play football because he saw it on it, and so he got that first hit. My other son played baseball until he got hit by a pitch. I'm just saying they had to keep going. I'm saying the mindset, but they had to keep going. Yeah. Hey, yeah, you got hit by the pitch. My dad used to always say, when the going gets tough, tough get going. Wow. And again, same thing here. And Jay, Mr. Stewart, let's be very transparent that we stay in for a lot of different reasons. As you went through, some difficult times in your life over the last couple of years, it wasn't just about you. Right. You had to push through for other people. And yes, you make a six-figure income, and you're going to make a six-figure income whether you show up or not. But the responsibility level that we have, 7 years later is not to quit because we've got the income and we could live great lives, but we won't quit on the team. So
Yeah.
that's very, very important. Let's go back. Let's digress a little bit and go back to the beginning. You said something on a pre-call this morning that you've heard me say for over the last several years is help your people.
Yeah.
Help your people. And I told you I do all my work in the front end before I get into the business. I help them manage their expectation down from the time that I'm giving them that first invitation to come to that first event. Hey, this is going to be business casual. At least business casual, or however far you want to go. If you want to throw a certain tie on, suit and tie, whatever, but at least be prepared to meet some very strong businessmen and businesswomen. So I'm helping them prepare for their journey to minimize their IQ, the I quit rate.
Yeah, Mr. Brad, that was so powerful on the pre-call. You know, in the book, Mr. Carruthers talks about some things that you should do as far as help your people. When I told you on the pre-call, only thing I could hear this morning when I woke up was help your people, help your people, help your people. It's ingrained in now. But in the book, he talks about some things that you should do, getting them plugged in. Well, not necessarily getting them plugged in is what he says, but he says, you know, make sure that they understand the vision of the company. Right? Make sure that they, you sell them on their dream. Make sure that they are introduced to other people. And so on the pre-call, you said, you know what? That can all happen in one shot, right? If you get them to the meeting, if you get them to the events, everything that we're discussing now this morning when it comes to helping your people, when you birth a new child in a business, it can all happen. These things that will absolutely ground them in the business. And so I love two things. One, I think is a responsible conversation that you just said, right? It's inoculating them. It's setting the proper expectation. And I say this all the time, you know, we have an amazing product. We have an amazing company and we have the evidence. And when folks come to the meeting, they have those rose-colored glasses on. They see all the good. And it's our job to have a responsible conversation with them when they come in. Hey, listen, this is going to be great, but it's going to be tough as well. So you got to have that conversation with those individuals. You got to get them connected to someone other than just you. You got to share the vision of the company, but you're not responsible for doing it all by yourself. And I thought that was so powerful when you said that this morning, Mr. Bradley, is that, you know what, you can get all this done in one shot by getting the individuals in the culture, right? And so you may be listening this morning and thinking, man, I got to do all this. No, you just got to get them in the culture, and the culture will do it for you, Mr. Bradley. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. I had a person that I knew and respected over the last 2 decades that, you know, we communicated about the business, and she said, hey, she was a school principal. She said, hey, send me some information. I said, I'm going to do one better. I'm going to invite you to this meeting on Tuesday night. She was right here in Atlanta. And rather than sending the information out to her, I invited her out, and it did everything. She saw the story. She met Mr. Shedrick White. She met Mr. Orlando Moore. She met Miss Natalie Graham. I mean, you know, Melody Washington, and, you know, just a group of champions, Miss Nina Vitale, and just different levels of layers of people that, and it did everything. It got her plugged in. It showed her that, hey, every Tuesday night, you don't have to be a master speaker. You can just leverage the time and talent. This is happening every Tuesday night. She heard about the event. She saw on the presentation that we were having a convention, and she saw, you know, the magnitude that it was bigger than me, Mr. J. Stewart. So that was very, very important. And I'm going to add some things also that Mr. Carruthers said. Get them their first check, right? That belief check. Jay, you remember when you got your first check with your name on it, and people like you and I, we have an imagination. Einstein said creativity is far greater than intellect, and we could just start putting zeros on the end of that $50. 500, 5,000. And it's very, very important for me to do those things, get them involved, get them plugged in, show them that they're a part of a team that's bigger than you. Mr. Stewart, you said something interesting on the pre-call today too. You said what not to do was just as important as what to do. Talk about that, Mr. Stewart.
Absolutely, Mr. Bradley. And I'm going to touch really quickly on what you just talked about. It just jumped in my spirit when you said get your first check. People will be curious and semi-excited about your check, but they get serious when they get their check. So it's really, really important to get them that first check. It is absolutely that belief check. But what you're referring to, Mr. Bradley, is what we talked about on the pre-call. And I said, is this okay to talk about? We're talking about what to do when folks get involved in the business, get them plugged in, getting them around the culture. But one of the things, it's some things not to do as well. Right? We don't want to give them any negativity coming in the door. and just being transparent. These are some of the things that you'll see sometimes, right? You may have been in the business for a while. Things may not be going as fast as you want. You may not like everybody that you're working with, right? And that's not a prerequisite. You don't have to. But sometimes we'll have these negative conversations with individuals that are coming in the door. And then we'll wonder, well, why are they not showing up? Well, why they got an attitude? Well, because you gave them the attitude, right? You shared that negativity with them coming in the door, and you may not think you're doing any harm. You're just keeping it real. No, you're keeping it wrong. You're planting those seeds of doubt and negativity in folks when they're coming in the door. And Mr. Bradley, the ramifications can be catastrophic if you do that. We always say that good goes down, bad goes up. And a person, when they're brand new, they're absolutely down. You want to be giving them nothing but positivity when they come through the door. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Bradley?
Oh, absolutely. Good goes down, bad goes up. You know, if there's some negative things that you need to discuss, you discuss it with your upline, not your downline, and definitely not with your prospects. You know, and that's a law in the industry of network marketing. And that's some of the experiences that we can share and help them prepare for themselves for the journey to lower that IQ rate, that I quit rate. Very, very, very important. Also, the first thing that I recommend to individuals is the reading. You know, first year of network marketing, where they're gonna learn about the rejection rocket. You know, there's two things that Carruthers talked about in this chapter that I highlighted was verbal attacks and rejection. Man, come on, Mr. Stewart, just to prepare them. It's coming. Those verbal attacks on your business, on the company, on the industry, they're coming. And rejection. The only way to get to the top, you know, is to go through the no's and go through the rejection to get to the yeses. So verbal attacks and rejection, very, very important to prepare any one of your prospects for it, because the word pyramid is going to come up. And you're going to have your responsibility to educate them and let them know, you know, what a real pyramid is, that it's illegal. You know, if this was a pyramid, then we wouldn't be in partnership with Disney World, Disneyland, Carnival Cruise Line, and all the major suppliers around the world. You know, attacks on the company, attacks on themselves. Man, Mr. Stewart, you've been doing, you know, all these things, and all of a sudden now you're involved in network marketing. You know, that verbal attack, everybody's got to be ready for that. Mr. Stewart, I want to hear you talk a little bit about, you know, getting people prepared for verbal attacks and the rejection that you know that they're going to receive.
Mr. Brown, I love this because it's and Mr. Shedder White says this all the time. And one of his favorite words is inoculation. You're inoculating them. You're giving them that flu shot, right? And if these are people that you care about, these are your children. Think back when you were just talking, I was thinking about how did I feel when I got that first verbal attack, right? I'm pure-hearted. I'm excited. My eyes already, right? And look, I remember when my mother said something, man, it floored me. Like, right, I was it floored me. I went in the back and almost cried, right? But it hurt me. It hurt my heart. So it's like, how can you not have that conversation with these people that are partnering with you? Mr. Bradley, we said on the pre-call, you're just gonna let your kids just run out there and play in traffic. You're not gonna even tell them to look both ways, right? It's cars out there, right? You're just gonna tell them, go ahead, cross the street. No, look, they're gonna say some stuff. You better have your guards up, right? Because it's gonna hurt. And you just really touched the nerve when you said that. It's powerful. So we have to have that conversation. And that's not just business, that's just fair. That's just being a human being, right? Look, I'm not gonna let you get hurt like that, because it's gonna happen. And I love the fact that you're talking about the rejection. That is the work, right? And people don't like the word sales because it comes with rejection. That's why they don't like sales. That's it, the end. That's the end of that story. But guess what? It's the highest paid occupation in the world. And so you got to go through it to get this money. We show you the money, but this is what you got to go through, and it's going to hurt. You better cover up, develop some rhino skin, because they're coming out to you, Mr. Bradley. What are your thoughts?
Man, Mr. Stewart, when you were just talking, you and I have sons. So imagine us, you know, making them believe that they're getting ready to play flag football. And we set them up and put these little flags on them, right, and prepare and make them think that they're ready to get in flag football when they really get ready to get in some full contact. You see that visual, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, they're done. Right. They're not done. Yeah. They're done.
So I'm reminded that, you know, of the rejection that I first received. My gosh, from the people that you love the most. I joined the industry of network marketing thinking, boy, when I talked to my brother,
Mm.
The VIP room with everybody. He's a social magnet. He's not, I'm an introvert. He knows everybody. I joined the industry thinking, woo, man.
No.
But guess what? 17 years later. but I was prepared, to understand because I was reading, and I heard the rejection rocket. So it's very, very important, those verbal attacks and rejection, and let them know that it gets easier. And then one of the things that Carruthers talked about was get them plugged into the company events, all the company events. This weekend, we're going to have over 1,500 people in Atlanta that want to get, as you said, inoculated to our culture, to our business, to a network. They say your net worth determined by your network, right? Your network determines your net worth. And this weekend, if they're coming to Atlanta, they're going to be part of a very strong international network. And Carruthers talked about it, getting them plugged in, to company events, from event to event to event. We're going to leave there. We're going to head to Las Vegas for our leaders, right? We're going to leave there. We're going to head to Miami for Eagle Weekend in June. January, Vegas, June, Miami, that international network of collective minds going together from the leadership. And Mr. Stewart, I'm going to say, thank you, man. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for allowing me to share the platform in the absence of Mr. Shedrick White, who obviously will be back in motion next Friday on this amazing platform to help inspire people early in the morning. And you're very good at what you do, and I appreciate all the talent that you bring to the planet.
Wow, Mr. Brown, I appreciate that. And I think I maybe speak for not just the over 1,000 people that are on the Zoom this morning, but it's 75,000 plus people around the world, and say thank you for an opportunity to create some income that is literally changing folks' lives. And we're just at the beginning, right? We're just at the beginning, just beginning to experience what true freedom could be, for each and every person that's attached to this amazing company. So I appreciate you, Mrs. Bradley, for the amazing vision that you guys have created. Mr. Bradley, I'm gonna yield to you. I don't know, do you have anything that you'd like to close us out with? What would you like us to, the affirmation to be?
Yeah, decrease your IQ rate. I mean, and I'm gonna say this not only for the people that actually quit the business, but for people who may receive a little bit of success and quit on their organization. 17 years later, it's very important when I got the phone call from Mr. Shedrick White, if I could fill in for him this morning, that I didn't say, no, I'm the CEO. No, Shedrick, I got 75,000 people. No, Shedrick, I'm busy this morning. The same thing for you. You got your sapphire ring, but you recognize that it is a responsibility, So I would like to say, decrease your I quit rate. Decrease, don't increase it. Even as you go further and start experiencing some levels of success. This is not just quitting on your business. It can be also quitting on your organization.
I love it. I love it. I see it in the chat. I have decreased my IQ rate. Mr. Bradley, I thank you. I appreciate you. Ladies and gents, this has been your Inspirational Morning Vitamin. I have decreased my IQ rate. Have a good week, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, it's Helene, and I'm back, and I hope that you thoroughly enjoyed that experience of our daily inspirational morning vitamin call that happens every weekday morning here in PlanNet Marketing. So if you have any questions about becoming part of our team, my team specifically, and being part of the culture here at PlanNet Marketing, definitely do not hesitate to reach out and ask any questions. I would love to help you get started. All right, so again, I hope you were able to take some nuggets away from our daily inspirational morning vitamin call. I am Helene Joseph, your travel partner, and looking forward to hearing from you.